This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
This episode is brought to you by Harry's Braces. There'll be a deal, but just hold your bloody horses.
Yeah, steady on, all right?
Yeah.
We all have a deal.
We all...
Just calm your farm, mate.
Did you say we all have a deal or we all love a deal?
No, I've got a deal. Do you want to buy one of these fine Swiss watches?
no, thank you.
Okay.
Bottom of the show?
I mean, some of them only have one hand, but
One hand,
if you bought two,
Yeah.
you can combine them and then...
You just you hang on to those. Can you hang on to those
Yeah,
for
okay,
me?
great. I will. Yeah, sure.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, official podcast of comicbookmovie.com, where we talk movies, comics, TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason.
I'm right here.
You are right here.
You said that as a question, like you forgot my name briefly. Did you forget my name
Well,
briefly?
so one day I plan to look up, and it's going to be that like the moment in Good Will Hunting, and you're not there, and I just smile to myself and go, "He's made it. He's escaped. He's broken the curse."
Yeah.
Yeah. Just before we get into the news,
Yes.
You know my wife Claire.
Yes.
You see her.
You never shut up about it.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's love, man. Anyway,
Sometimes you use a funny voice, like you're from you refer to her. Use a funny voice, like some sort of Eastern European voice.
Yes, that's
Don't
right.
understand what you're doing there, but all right, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
She's got a podcast called Just Make the Thing.
Yes.
Where her and her friend Chanel talk about like getting creative things off the ground and like the stumbling blocks that you might find along the way. And in her latest episode, which is up now and it's down below, it's me and her talking about this podcast.
How'd she
my
get
YouTube
you?
channel. Pff, mate.
Because you've got nothing else
It's
going
got
on.
nothing else going on. And it's, I don't know, if you're interested in kind of how any of this started, then yeah, I'd say give it a listen. It's about 40
Yeah.
or so minutes.
How long did you give her the? It's difficult. From personal experience, it's difficult to avoid being on somebody's podcast if you live with them.
That is very true.
It just happened to me in the past, and you're like, have to keep putting it off. Did she chase you around for a few weeks, and you're like, oh, pretty busy schedule,
I'd
mate. I
rather
can't.
not, you know.
I'm run off my feet, really.
No, it was pretty. I was happy to do it.
Yeah,
so,
great.
no, I think I think it's interesting. We talk about you for a little bit as well. So
no.
there you go. So none of it good, but
Oh,
but let's get into this show.
is it in a segment called like anchors that weigh you down?
That's right. Yeah.
Here's how to eliminate the things that just stop you from being creative.
Yeah. This is about the human barnacle in both of our lives. No, not at all. That's linked below, though, if you want to check it out. Also, Jurassic World 2, first bit of news.
Here we go.
It's officially titled Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Hello.
So I guess that refers to...
Whatever happened at the end of the last one?
They took all the dinosaur embryos and they jumped
Oh yeah,
ship.
BD Wong's evil.
Yeah, he was. He
took
went
them-
mad.
Okay, right. But
'cause
is that? Do you think that's going to be the plot of the new one, or do you think Fallen Kingdom is going to refer to the destruction of Jurassic World and what's left of it?
But do you think... Yeah, potentially, or what's left of the company, maybe. But like, do you want to go back to another theme park?
That's where the money is.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what they're going to do. Like, weren't 2 and 3 more or less that?
Yeah.
Let's go back to what was left. And this is
Sort
kind
of.
of a soft reboot.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
reckon 2 is going to be Jurassic Park 2.
I think it's going to be a bit different. I think they're going to try something else.
Hit me with your something else.
I don't know what that is.
Terrific.
We've talked about before. Do Planet of the Apes, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah, right.
So like they're just in the world.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if that's going to be it, but they've given nothing away. We know that Jeff Goldblum's back.
Oh.
So that's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, he's
Ian Malcolm.
done with his Foodora adverts.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, have you not seen those?
Oh,
They're all
on
over the place in
Facebook.
Melbourne.
No,
Yeah,
I have,
they're
yeah.
in bus shelters and stuff.
Good on him.
Americans, is Jeff Goldblum doing Foodora ads in America, or is he doing that thing where like celebrities?
Yeah, Sam Jackson does like sports bet in Australia.
Yeah,
and
right.
Things like that. Yeah.
Who else? Alec Baldwin does like an ad for a lending company.
Oh, I thought you were going to say suits for a big wide man. Do you think he'd be good for that? I have a big wide neck,
yeah.
he says. Get a big suit.
Yeah.
Not a fat man, but a broad man
Yeah.
in the neck.
I can't remember the name of the company. It doesn't matter. Anyway, if any of those celebrities are shilling weird stuff in your country, let us know.
That's what people do, though. They just be
Yeah.
like, it's like George Clooney sells like cola
Coffee.
in Japan
Coffee in
or whatever.
Japan, yeah.
whatever
Uh-huh.
the hell he's doing. So
Something caffeinated in Japan.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably caffeinated chewing
Yeah,
gum.
no
You know what they're
doubt.
like over there.
I know what they're like.
Hmm.
I don't approve. But do you approve of Jurassic World 2, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
I bet it's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's the director of A Monster Calls, which I haven't seen, but apparently it's a really good movie.
Okay.
With about a monster.
Oh, yeah.
But it might be in the mind. It might be about growing up or bullying as well. So.
Sounds boring. Make it an actual monster. As we know from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, metaphors are for cowards. No metaphors. It's got to be a real monster.
Well, here's a coward for you, Mason.
Here we go.
People wanted us to talk about this, or maybe they didn't. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, we're only going to do it if they definitely don't want us to talk
That's
about it,
right.
because we're not cowards.
Daniel Day-Lewis is taking the coward's way out of acting by retiring at age 60. Did you hear about that? He's
Yes.
retired before. Remember he cobbled shoes?
He cobbled shoes for
15
some time,
years
yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
For
For that role as a cobbler?
I don't know if he did. I think he just he just likes art, and for
yeah.
him for that 10 years it was cobbling shoes. I like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Do you think maybe he was learning to be a cobbler so he could cobble himself a giant shoe and live in it?
And
become a shoe?
Become a shoe. The world's greatest shoe. I don't know. I don't believe this.
Oh my God, he's so good as a shoe, I wouldn't even need the other shoe.
He's all I need. I don't think he'll be gone forever. I think he'll come back at some point.
Yeah,
But,
probably in a Transformers movie.
absolutely. Well, they seem to get very high caliber actors.
They
don't
do,
they?
yeah.
He wouldn't do Transformers.
Maybe he would though. Like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said, maybe we'll get to this later.
Sure.
But I wouldn't have said Sir Anthony Hopkins would have done a Transformers movie.
I would say that's way more likely than Daniel Day-Lewis is the epitome of like an actor's actor.
Yeah, I know, but also I think I think there's ways to get into an actor's head like that.
Yeah.
And go, you know what the ultimate challenge would be? Is to be in a movie that's
Be in the worst thing ever.
be in a movie that's total garbage. Not that I'm saying anything about a movie we're going to review later, but be in a movie that's total absolute garbage, the worst one in the franchise so far, and see if you can somehow turn it around and have people praise your amazing performance in a garbage movie. I reckon if you pitched it to him like that, he would come out of retirement for something crap.
He'd climb out of that shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
That's
fair
right.
enough.
He'd clomp his way onto set.
I don't think he would ever do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he'd only come back for like to do There Will Be Blood, but more acting.
He spends 10 years on the top of a shoe repair building as the giant shoe.
Oh, he's the world's greatest actor
He's
in
so
shoe,
good.
isn't he? Yeah. Anyway, it's a shame, but he only does like a movie every 2 or 3 years anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't feel like he'll be gone forever.
Also, and maybe it's just me being under pressure because I've got this microphone in front of me, but if you said, name a Daniel Day-Lewis movie right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you one.
I'll give you a clue.
My Left Foot?
I haven't seen it.
Was he in My Left
I
Foot?
think he was.
Perfect!
I was going to give you a clue. That's a kill.
Yeah.
That's a kill.
Oh, yeah, that one. The Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Ironically, he was the right shoe.
In my right. Very good. I don't like Gangs of New York.
No, it's no good, is
It's
it?
not good. Anyway, here's something that might not be good. Carnage will be the villain of the Venom movie, it seems.
Great.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because if you're doing a Venom solo movie, you need someone worse than murderer Venom.
Yes,
so
exactly
you get
right.
mass murder, a Carnage.
Correct,
It's
that's
perfect.
right.
It's the perfect crime or movie.
Mass murder.
Does that excite you any more or less for what they're doing or not doing?
Ah.
Depending if it gets a reboot before
less.
it comes out. Yeah.
I reckon less because...
Why is that?
I guess because it's like we've seen enough superhero movies at this point. We don't need the trope to be here's a character and the villain of that hero is has the same powers more or less.
Right.
That's boring.
Yeah.
And it's going to end in a CGI fest of just tendrils whipping at each other, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah. Probably.
Unless they make Venom less tendrily,
Yeah.
in which case he's just a bigger Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that's what it will be. I think Carnage will be more tenderly. Yeah. You seen Life, the movie Life?
No.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. There's
Did
also...
that get a release here?
I don't know.
But you've
Yes,
seen it.
I have seen
How'd
it.
you do that?
I saw it on on a plane.
Oh yeah, saw it on a plane. Oh yeah, which plane? Where was the plane going?
To a movie studio.
Oh, a movie
Yeah.
studio. Wow. Huh.
Does that story check out?
That story absolutely checks out. Yeah.
Did you see Kevin Feige get thrown under a bus in that
Yes,
by
I
Amy
did. Yeah.
Pascal in that
Yes.
Spider-Man
So
interview?
she's from Sony,
She's the head of Sony or one
and
of.
she said something to the effect of, "Yeah, so all Venom and Carnage and Black Cat and Silver Surfer, they're all going to exist in the Marvel universe, aren't
Correct.
they?"
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige's like,
Do you think, because he's also said before that it's separate,
"Yep."
but I think it could work in the sense of, look, Sony would be mad to be like, this is completely separate. I mean, they would have seen the backlash of being like, you're just going to ruin everything again. Sony.
Yeah, right, uh-huh.
So I think what it will be, it'll just have very loose links to Spider-Man. So
Yep.
maybe it's in the MCU, maybe it's
Yeah,
not.
sure,
You
right.
know what I mean? Like, because they were going to put Oscorp Tower from the Amazing Spider-Man into the Avengers. Like, they didn't end up doing it. So
Yeah,
that would have
right.
loosely linked them. So I think that's the kind of the way they're going to do this. Because after, I think it's Homecoming 2, or maybe even Avengers 4. whatever
Well,
they'll-
now apparently it's going to go Avengers 4, then Homecoming 2.
Okay, right.
That's the order now.
Gotcha. Okay. And so that means that then their contract is up. So they can do whatever they want anyway. So they could be like, well, this is linked to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is technically linked to the other stuff. So
This feels a little bit like a cry for help from Sony as
Yes.
well. Sort of like they don't want to. They don't want to be like, we don't know what we're doing. So they're just like, it's going to be set in the same universe. And then Kevin Feige's like, and he gets off stage and he has to make some calls of like, hey guys, can you guys all come and work some overtime? You got to fix some films. Next couple of years, you're going to have to fix a whole bunch of films.
though the word is it's coming about some Spider-Man Homecoming, which actually Marvel did make, to be fair. Sony are just distributing it. And apparently it's very good.
Great.
The best since Spider-Man 2, which is the Spider-Man film that's great, but you still hate it. or dislike it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You looking forward to it?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. But are you looking forward to this even more? Get ready. Brace yourself. Watchmen TV series coming to HBO.
That's the Watchmen that everybody wanted for many, many years.
Yeah.
Make it an HBO series. And people were saying that before Game of Thrones, before
Before Watchmen the movie.
Entourage,
Before Entourage.
the movie and the TV
Before
series.
2003 or whenever Entourage started.
I think so.
Okay.
Before Sex and the City.
What, from like 97?
I don't know.
That's actually possible.
Well, I meant more that people have been asking for this before
Yeah.
HBO just started doing Game of Thrones and all weird sci-fi fantasy genre
Yes,
stuff.
it was always said that, like, I know a few people tried to adapt it, and I think Terry Gilliam
Ugh.
tried to do it at one point.
Sorry, that was rude to Terry Gilliam. What I meant was most of Terry Gilliam's films. Ugh, that's what I meant.
But I think he said something to the effect of, it shouldn't be a movie.
I
it
like
should
The
be-
Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
The only movie of his I've seen is Brazil, and I hated it.
Yeah, it's no
good. So, but the thing that people are kind of being a bit cautious about is that it's Damon Lindelof who did Lost.
Right.
And people don't like Lost. And do you remember at
Yeah.
the end of, well, that's not true. A lot of people were very dissatisfied with how it wrapped up. Even when Breaking Bad finished and everyone enjoyed that so much, they then took to Twitter to insult Damon Lindelof.
They sure
to
did,
be
yeah.
like, this is how you end a series.
Right, uh-huh.
Yeah. But I think it's good. And
Hmm.
I think it's also an opportunity to delve into the extra source material as well.
Sure.
Not that I've read any of that, but if you're making a series...
Oh, I thought you meant the pirate stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah,
Just
cool.
do it all.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
What? Okay, but here's the thing though. So the pirate stuff, which you can get on the Curse of the Black Freighter, you can
Yeah.
get on like the DVD and stuff, and it's sort of animated motion comic style stuff.
It's Jerry Butler as the...
Do you think that if they do that for the TV series, they'll make it live action, or do you think they'll make it animated?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think they should make it full animated.
But I think because
Because
they've
it's
already...
a comic book that people are reading.
I
in
guess
the
that's
context
true.
Of the show.
But also because they already did it fully animated.
Yeah, right.
Like, is that... Do you not do that then?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Maybe you do a hyper stylized Sin City style...
Oh yes.
whatever. No, I can see why you would want to do it animated, but I don't know whether they will because they already did it like that.
Yeah,
then again,
right.
they already did Watchmen and they're doing it again. So
Well, they might not do the comic book stuff at all.
yeah.
But then if they don't do the comic book stuff at all, that's the whole thing's a metaphor for Ozymandias' journey to save the world, and then he's destroyed the world. Spoiler alert.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So do you think they're going to put the squid back in?
Yes.
They'll have to.
They'll
won't
have
they?
to because they can't do.
You
They
can't
can't
do
do
a
a new.
faithful-
They can't
yeah.
do a new twist that is different from the original change. So it's going to have to be a
Yeah.
faithful adaptation.
The twist can't be that you do the new twist from the movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Have you read any of the supplementary material?
Like before Watchmen.
Yeah.
some
any
of
that?
it.
And? It's a bit hit and miss, I've heard.
Yeah, I think we talked about this briefly before. Some of it's a bit hit and miss, and they've changed some of the continuity of some of it, which I thought was odd. Like,
Comedian stuff, yeah?
yeah, so in the comedian series, so in the original Watchmen, it's heavily implied he killed JFK.
Yeah.
In the movie, you literally see him disassembling a sniper rifle on the grassy knoll
Yes.
after JFK's been killed.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he definitely did do it. But in the comic, in the first issue of Before Watchmen, he is somewhere else when he's friends with JFK.
Yeah.
And he's somewhere else when JFK is killed.
And doesn't he then go to find the killer? Like
Yeah,
the
I
real
think so. Yeah.
killer or something?
Yeah. So,
They try to paint him as a more sympathetic character.
but
in
that's
that,
not the
don't
point
they?
of that.
Isn't he a rapist or an
Yes.
attempted rapist?
Yes.
And he shot like that with a woman in Vietnam who had his baby
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have not every character in a piece of fiction has to be a good person.
No.
You can hate a character. That's like he's a
He's a bad bloke.
he's a bad person and he exists in that world. So
Yeah.
let's hear the story of him, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think.
Also, he does get beaten up and hurled out a window to his death, so he does kind of get some comeuppance
Kind
in
of?
in the end, or possibly right at the start.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I do wonder how they're going to frame it. Like how they're going to tell this story.
Yeah.
Whether they will take it way back to the very start. You could even tell the golden age of superheroes in this. And
That's true, yeah.
explore. There's so much you could do.
do you think they're going to call them? Because in the movie, it's the Minutemen.
Yeah.
And then in the comic books, it's the Minutemen and the I can't remember.
It's Minutemen and then a different thing.
It's a different thing, but
Go
in this
on.
they're called the Watchmen.
Right.
Because they were like, why would we call it Watchmen if it isn't?
yeah.
If the team in the movie isn't called the Watchmen?
But it's called the Watchmen because of the characters are the Watchmen. Is that why it's called Watchmen?
No, it's called Watchmen because they are metaphorically, because you know the phrase "who watches the Watchmen,"
Yeah.
which is spray painted on a wall.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
They're supposed to be the guardians of the world, but who's paying attention to
Yeah.
them?
Turns out nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah. No, I think this is good.
Yeah.
I think I think I'd be way more excited for it if we hadn't had the movie already.
Sure, right.
But hey, why not?
Yeah.
TV.
And again, the movie is quite divisive.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. I like it too.
Our friend Levins hates it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. He's wrong. No, he's probably
Maybe
right.
he's right.
Yeah, he's probably right. This is right for everybody. What do you think they're going to do costume wise?
Oh,
Because in the comic book, it's kind of they're very they're classic superhero-y costumes. They're kind
Yeah.
of soft and 60s Batman-esque.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they're kind of some of them are kind of
goggled and Batman outfits.
it's
and-
Batman and Robin style.
Yeah.
Goggles and bat nipples and what have you.
No, I
and
think
armor.
they'll do the comic
Yeah,
version of
right,
it because that's a very, especially seeing his films since, but that's a very Snyder interpretation.
Yeah, right.
Especially when you look at Night Owl and then you look at Batman from the upcoming Justice League movie.
Yeah, right.
It's like the same goggles and
It is,
kind of
isn't it? Yeah.
head thing. So no, I think they'll adhere more closely to
I think maybe
the comic. Yeah.
I think maybe the flashback scenes are going to be like that, but I think maybe the modern day version it's going to be more like say
Sin
like
City.
yes, just band-aids, just band-aids in the face that glow, glowing band-aids. Maybe like Daredevil, like the modern day
Right,
Daredevil,
okay,
like something
sure.
that's kind of like or like
But a lot of those guys are pulling their old gear out from
Yeah, I guess that's
retirement,
true, yeah,
so
you're
I don't
right.
know whether they'd have an updated suit.
maybe you're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I did give a go the other day because we'll do it for Caravan of Garbage. I gave
no.
the Watchmen video game.
beat 'em up? The
beat 'em up,
side-scrolling beat 'em up?
No, it's like a Arkham-esque beat 'em up.
Oh, is it?
I've heard
Oh,
it was
yeah, it is true,
terrible.
yeah.
It's not great, but I'm like, this is all right. I mean,
Right.
it cost me like $10 or whatever it was, and it's fine.
Wow.
So we'll do a bit of that.
Did you buy a physical copy of
No,
it?
I just downloaded
Oh,
it,
right.
yeah. But, I've been hoarding games. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time you come here, there's like a couple of new games.
Been hoarding
there.
games, old newspapers.
Yep, correct.
Tissue boxes that are on your feet.
Nail clippings.
Yeah,
just
all the
all
stuff.
of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Some people say that being alone in this house has driven you mad, but I think they're right.
I think it's made me more powerful in a
Yeah,
way.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? We're kind of cruising through this, mate. This might be a short episode.
No, I've got many things to say later. So many things.
Good. Fantastic Four is allegedly, apparently, potentially getting a reboot at
Wow.
Fox. So it's still there, apparently. I thought it might have secretly gone back to Marvel, but nah.
Nope. That was the hope when we saw the Watchers in the latest Guardians of the Galaxy.
And
We're
they
like,
have Galactus, apparently, and
wait, who does?
Marvel have Galactus.
Oh, do they?
Apparently, yeah.
So this is going to be a Fantastic Four movie from Fox, who have historically never made a great Fantastic Four movie, except all the good Fantastic Four villains have been given over to Marvel.
Correct.
So they can't use any of them.
That's right.
So it's going to be the Fantastic Four arguing with Willie Lumpkin, their mailman, for 2 hours. Terrific.
But so this reboot's going to focus on not the Fantastic Four
Great.
twist.
Good start, actually.
Well, it might be because they've kind of done a lot of versions of it, haven't they? But this it's going to focus on Franklin and Valeria, who are the children of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. And Human Torch and the Thing will appear, but it's going to be a kid-friendly entry in the vein of The Incredibles. Because as we all know, The Incredibles is the only good Fantastic Four movie.
Absolutely.
So it would make sense that they would borrow from something which did a better version of what they were doing. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Okay.
Yeah, why not, eh?
Why not?
Yeah.
If they're not going to give it up.
Yeah.
It seems to me they've gone, okay, look, we have to make a Fantastic Four movie in order to keep our ownership of the Fantastic Four. What's the least amount of Fantastic Four we can put in this movie and retain the ownership? Right. And they've gone, 2 of them? 2 Human Torch and Thing, that'll do.
Yeah.
And then the kids?
Yeah.
That adds up to 4, I guess. So,
That's right.
and the lawyer's there and the lawyer is looking, typing stuff and then looks up and just gives them a thumbs up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, all right, good.
We've met the quota.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is kind of smart because we've seen the origin multiple times now. They've burnt kind of every version they've given
really
a go.
have, yeah.
And so now just jump ahead.
Sure.
And just kind of be like, they have kids and like the heroes exist in this universe, but it's a kid-friendly film that's going to focus on
right,
whatever.
okay.
I mean, I still don't think it'll probably be any good. But then again, Fox have learned some lessons, mate. But also, sometimes they haven't learned lessons. It's
Absolutely,
confusing.
yeah.
So I don't know. I think I remember us saying this when we saw the last one that for me, I just wanted to see them keep failing at this forever. Just
Yeah.
like not giving it back to Marvel, but just every 4 years keep doing it and just getting progressively worse. Because they're all bad, but they're so differently bad.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
amazing.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be is it a tax write-off maybe?
Well, if they don't do it, they have to give it back.
Yeah, right.
So that's yeah. And it's probably a tax write-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Mason, we accidentally were at the forefront of breaking news the other week.
That's right. Weekly Planet exclusives.
I don't care for it, quite frankly. No, well, when I say that, I mean somebody sent us an anonymous tip and then we went, maybe this is
is
real.
true.
Yeah, and it turns out that
We'll believe what you say.
it turns out it was. So it's basically that Phil Lord and Chris Miller have been fired from the Han Solo film.
Right.
For
Is it nearly finished?
3 weeks left of principal photography and then 5 weeks left of reshoots, but it's on
right.
hiatus until mid-July for now. I've done a whole video on it, breaking down how it started and where it's at now. I'll link it below, so it'll be more comprehensive than whatever we kind of spew now, I feel, because I'm kind of burnt on it.
Sure, right.
But do you have any opinions on what's going on?
Well, I've read a Variety article.
Yeah.
In the
A variety of articles, you say. You went above and beyond. You read multiple articles.
No.
Go on.
I've read one article.
Oh, okay. I was
going to
say that's way more.
And Variety's site is really slow, and like the scrolling locks up when you scroll it. So I read maybe 3/4 of it and then I stopped. But the point is that it was an article about how like auteur filmmaking is dead now in the year of in the era of like brands and franchise and stuff. You know, I'm always saying, what's a director do really?
You do say that a lot.
I do, and I think that's been proven true here.
Yeah.
Like. Because back in the day, like, you had an auteur director, and they were like, I want my movie to look like this, and I want my characters to be like this, and
I think that's not always true. I think every era of Hollywood there is this kind of thing going on.
Sure, yeah.
But I see what you mean. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
But and so now we've got this thing of like, the producers come in and they say, okay, you've got to build this movie. It's got to have these set pieces. It's got to have these characters and this look, and it's got to fit in with the rest of the genre and the universe, and it's got to, fit in with the next movie. We've got to do a tease for the next movie, and etc.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the director. You go, okay, well, this director did a nice indie film, and there were some fun characters in it, and you got good performances out of them. So your job is to just come in and go, hey, act good, guys.
Yeah. Do this. Do what's on the thing.
Right.
And that it very much seems like a case of that. But it also feels like there was a real lack of communication between them and the producers and the heads up of Lucasfilm. Because
in terms of the directors wanted to, it feels like they wanted to overstep their bounds.
Yes.
Not as you would imagine a director would, but
No.
more like to step on the toes of the producers and say, I would like a scene like this. And they're like, we've got no room for a scene like that.
They did, and as they do, if you see any of their other movies,
Yeah.
they apparently did a lot of improv and a lot of kind of jokes on the fly. And if you've got Donald Glover, he's great at that.
Yeah, right.
So I'd imagine that, yeah, that's kind of how that started. But also, and I say this in my video, you can't do that with a $150 million. You can do it with a $150 movie.
Absolutely, you can.
Go nuts. But a production of this size,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of wiggle room for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of
Are you on the
wheels in
side of a
motion.
big movie?
No, I'm on this. I think there's.
But I mean,
We don't have all the information.
Yeah, but I think there's room for jokes that don't impact the plot, really.
Yeah,
It's not
totally,
like
yeah.
Donald Glover's improving a scene in which Anakin Skywalker isn't actually Darth Vader or whatever. And then they're just like, oh my God, what did he... Because then also, if he did that, edit it out.
That's true.
Like, it's not like there are people in the producer's trailer going, oh my God, he said that and now we have to rewrite all the next 3 movies.
But let's say apparently also the script is great, allegedly.
Sure.
Who knows? And also a good script doesn't necessarily translate to a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more likely, obviously.
Yes.
But if they do the bare minimum of the scripts, be like, okay, say these lines. Right, now we're just going to go do some crazy stuff.
Right.
Maybe they should be spending a bit more time trying to get what's on the page, like translate that to the screen, as opposed to, doing I don't know whether this happened, but do a bit of that and then just trying to improv for an hour.
What you're suggesting is that the Lord and Miller came on set and they had a big ceremonial waste paper basket and they showed they were holding the script and they just dump it in the bin and all the cast and crew were like, yeah.
I'm not saying that Disney are right. That's not what I'm saying. But I just think there was some miscommunication here, and you need, if you're going into a movie like this,
right,
as the directors, you must know that there's going to be a lack of flexibility that you would get on certain projects.
Sure, right.
And if also, one of the rumors was that the Han Solo portrayal was too humorous and it was almost like an Ace Ventura kind of wackiness.
Oh, I see, right.
So if
yeah.
it's getting to that point,
he's in the back of a banter or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what I put that in my video. That's
opening bloody...
Yeah. So I understand where they're coming from. I understand where everybody's coming from on this.
Right.
It's an unfortunate situation.
Uh-huh.
But I get it. Like, I understand why, if it got to that point, I can see why they were let go.
Yeah, right.
I
okay.
understand it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying whether or not the movie we're going to get, is it going to be better? But like, Ron Howard, to me, hasn't made a good movie in a while. Who stepped in. I saw Rush recently. It's a great movie, but I didn't see the real Moby Dick story or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I think he's just there to kind of like facilitate, the rumor is, there's a theory that because Lawrence Kasdan wrote the script with his son, who wrote the main draft of Empire Strikes Back, that he couldn't direct it because there's like rules in the Directors Guild.
I see, right.
So they get Ron Howard in, but it's not really Ron Howard. He's just kind of doing a favor, and Lawrence Kasdan's kind of doing more of the direction. But yeah. But that being said, I'd rather see a wacky, fun, crazy Han Solo, Ace Ventura movie than just a boring, bland origin movie. Yeah. But I don't know who's it. I don't know. Yeah.
I reckon the movie's in bloody fine shape.
Is that what you think?
Ron Howard voice. It wasn't.
This is one of my favorite things to come out of it. This is from the Pixelated Boat Twitter account. I think everyone should follow it. It's very funny. But he made this fake Hollywood Reporter headline that says, Disney fires Han Solo directors for insisting the Chewbacca costume has to have a real bear inside it and not a tame bear. It has to be the world's most dangerous bear.
That's pretty good. Speaking of... not Dangerous Bears, but so Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be directed by Colin Trevorrow of Jurassic World.
Yes.
Now, did you hear he's got an indie movie out now called The Book of Henry?
Yeah, apparently
it's real weird and bad.
Well, and I think that doesn't bode well for him going into Star Wars, because they're not going to put the same trust in him as they did Rian Johnson. That's the other thing. Rian Johnson came out and said, I've had as much freedom on Episode 8 than I have any of my movies. But I think a lot of that also comes down to his vision adheres with what they're doing. And
also, I don't know if you know this, but all of Rian Johnson's movies were intended to be Star Wars movies. But he's just such a bad director that he's never had the money. So they've ended up being like, a movie about a teen in high school has to solve a murder. It's about some con artists. Bloody time travel. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, wow. So every time he's aimed for a Star Wars movie, but he's accidentally made something else.
That's right.
Well, that's not good, is it?
It's rough, right?
Yeah. Does this decrease or increase your interest in this movie?
Decrease.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be Like I always thought that we get the epic sweeping scope of the new trilogy that's going to be in the mold of the Star Wars movies, and there's destiny and there's fate and there's action and everything's hugely dramatic and there's some laughs, but it's this big straight ahead action epic.
Yeah.
And the ones in between can be anything.
Right, yeah.
Like that was always the impression that I got it was gonna be. But now I guess they all have to be exactly the same format.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
also, if the script is as good as they say, then maybe that's why they want to
Yeah, maybe.
keep it that way. But of course, you're not going to be like, yeah, the script is shit. I read it and we shouldn't do it. But anyway, we'll have to see. It'll be, we'll probably never really know what the original version was because there are hours of footage from Rogue One which we will never see.
Yeah.
You know, there is a whole other movie that they shot. Yeah. And I wonder how much, because they've got 8 weeks left. They could reshoot most of it if they wanted to.
Ron Howard voice. They won't.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah. I know. Also, apparently, this is interesting. One of the stories cited Alden Ehrenreich was the one who brought Disney's attention to it.
Oh, I see. He
So-
ratted him out. The man himself. You know why? He's probably a bad improv. He's probably a
might
bad
be.
improv guy. So like they'd be like, Donald Glover would say a funny line, and then somebody else would say a funny line, and then it'd cut to him, and he's just like. And then one day later, he's calling up, he's ratting him out. He's like, they're making me make stuff up. This isn't my job.
It's very possible because there's a good chance that Donald Glover will steal this movie from him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, not for him. He'd hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I had something else to say about it. I
Man,
can't remember.
make a Lando movie.
Yeah, well, I'd love
Maybe
to
that's
see
what this was going to be.
Well, the Lando comic was really good.
Yeah.
And I feel like, no, I want to see what kind of shenanigans he's kind of get up to. He's gambling away and,
Yeah.
he's like a...
Because he doesn't have, he has a much smaller arc in the movies.
Yeah.
So his backstory can be anything. All the,
Yeah. Swindler, heist man,
exactly.
con man.
Yep.
How did he get a Cloud City? Where'd he get it?
Yeah, that's right.
Did he make it? Maybe.
Yeah, real tricky. He has to parachute out of a ship and build a piece at a time. So many trips.
But also, one more thing. Apparently, the reason they didn't realize this wasn't going well was because day to day the footage that was coming in looked great. But then when they put together assembly cut, they were
Right.
like, "Oh, this doesn't gel at all."
Oh, I see,
This is
right.
with like a weird series of skits,
Yeah.
kind of loosely connected.
Oh,
So yeah, they should have used a real bear though.
yeah, right.
That would make a much more interesting movie.
So good.
All right.
Have you heard... What was that movie back in the day, like in the 60s or the 80s or the 70s? It's one of those. A time that isn't now, where it was a movie about a family who lived with actual lions. Do you remember that? Like, I was going to say Daryl Hannah was in it, but I don't think she was.
I think you're thinking that Tarzan movie.
No.
Or Clan of the Cave
It was a
Bear.
movie, and it was... I'm going to look it up.
Was it
Well,
like a Disney, one of those Disney kind of...
Potentially, but it has like...
Is it a real family who lived with real lions, or is it like
No,
a...
it's like a
documentary.
It's like a fictional story
Yeah.
about this family who live with all these wild animals, and they just put wild animals on the set, and like lions and stuff, and people were attacked by lions. It's got a famous person. I'm gonna look it up.
A famous dead person, probably.
Yeah, probably. No, she's still alive. Anyway, continue with whatever you're talking about.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay.
We're just going to wait until you figure
Okay,
out
I'm gonna
this,
Google
this
movie
movie
with-
from the 60s, 70s, or 80s.
Movie
Which
with actual lions. Here we go.
I'm ready.
All right, I found it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. Roar is a 1981 American adventure exploitation film, written and directed by Noel Marshall, blah, 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 blah. Produced by and starring Marshall and his then-wife Tippi Hedren, and co-starring Hedren's real-life daughter Melanie Griffith. That's who I'm talking about. And Marshall's real-life sons John and Jerry. The film follows a family who are attacked by a range of ravening jungle animals at the secluded home of their keeper.
In the secluded home, okay, so they're not living with them. They just kind of they're there and they get attacked.
Roar became notorious for its troubled 11-year production.
11 years.
Which resulted in 70 members of its cast and crew being injured by the many predatory animals used in the film, including its main stars sustaining life-threatening injuries ranging from bone fractures to scalpings and gangrene. Much of the footage capturing the injuries was included in the final cut of the film, resulting in real blood on screen. It has been considered the most dangerous film shoot in history.
You just put a sheet of glass between them.
No.
We should do an episode on like
Yeah.
like really bad movie sets and
Yeah,
things like that.
right?
Yeah.
The film was released theatrically in Europe in 1981, but was a financial failure. It was released theatrically in the United States for the first time in 2015.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
2015.
that's weird, right? That it took 11 years to make this film,
Yeah.
and it's the most dangerous film ever,
And then 34 years to...
We've never heard... Yeah, it took 34 years to come out, and now nobody knows what it is, right? That's weird.
Well, you're the only one who knows, but you don't really know.
No, that's right.
You couldn't remember
it sounds scary.
You couldn't remember the name or the era or who was in it.
Or who was in it, yeah. Mandela effect, man.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Well, Mason, Scoops seems to run a hot streak with Scoops.
Yes.
We won. We did one. I'm gonna roll the dice.
Poor
here.
man's hat trick.
That's right.
The extremely poor man's hat trick. One correct thing.
We got another anonymous email. This is relating to a future Marvel project.
Oh yes.
This could very well be fake.
Yeah.
But hey, when
Work
you're on a hot
once.
streak,
When you're on the hot streak.
yeah. And even if this is wrong, 50% is pretty good.
That's
isn't
right.
It?
Then we're on tepid streak.
Tepid
Which
streak.
is just as good.
Yeah. So I'll read the email. Hey there, love the podcast. Just wanted to give you guys a scoop.
Hell, here we go.
This is sent from a burner email, so nobody can get into
Yes.
trouble. Specifically, this person. So here we go. I thought you'd be interested to know that Marvel is currently in the early
Big tip off 69 at hotmail.com.
That's right. Currently in the early stages of developing a Howard the Duck movie. I know, insane, right? Concept art and a script treatment is currently being developed as we speak. A director has been selected and is about to sign on the dotted line, and James Gunn is currently acting as a producer. Marvel are not sure they'll bring back Seth Green, as the feeling is he's not a big enough name since his previous appearances were so short they could recast him and no one would notice, but Gunn is pushing for them to stick with it. The original intention was to have a director and lead in place for an announcement at this year's D23, which doesn't seem likely if they haven't signed on either for sure. But it's possible my information is a touch behind. Anyways, even if you dub this to be utter nonsense, might be worth discussing, but if not, I understand. Keep up the good work, a friend.
Oh.
What do you think of that? Do you think there's a chance that could be true? I feel like James Gunn would be, if he's leading up the cosmic side of the universe,
yeah.
I feel like he's kind of mad enough to push for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time he did say this doesn't mean anything. When he first appears at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I think they said, yeah, this doesn't mean anything. This is just a fun little gag we thought we'd put in. But then he reappeared in 2, right? Didn't he? He was there in
the
like a
robot
bar scene.
brothel.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
What, you've never seen a duck have sex with a robot before, Mason? What are you, a prude?
I'm very sheltered. A very sheltered life. Yeah, maybe. I mean, people lost their minds.
Yeah.
And maybe, and you know, Marvel's, I think, pretty good at, you know, throwing something out there and seeing whether people bite on it and then going, all right, fine.
Infinity Gauntlet, then I guess we're doing that.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That's kind of how that kind of started.
Yeah.
No, look, again, this could be an elaborate trick, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there could be some validity to it. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, we could just say, well, they must have decided not to do it. And then
Yeah, nice. Because we were so influential. We sprung the story, and James Gunn himself was like, can't do it now.
Can't do it now,
Can't do it
yeah.
now. They've forced our hands.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone else...
First Pacino was Ego the Living Planet, and
right.
now this
Shakes
his fist at the sky.
Absolutely. So yeah, there we go. That's another segment of hot scoops.
Hot scoops.
Too hot. Get them out there. Yeah, I feel like we're going to get a lot of these now. This is going to be
Yeah,
people
right.
lying forever. Yeah.
Oh, we should call it Hot Scoop or Lie.
Okay, good. Good work. Okay. Mason, it's time for the ad for this week.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Go for it.
Give me a minute. I have to remember what we talked about earlier.
Harry Shavers.
There we go. Big fan.
What do you love about Harry Shavers? Be specific.
Smooth shave.
Okay.
Feels good.
Yeah, well, yep.
Blades last a really long time.
Yep.
Like mad amounts of time. It's crazy.
How's the handle?
Yeah, good.
Good enough or
Yeah,
real good?
Very nice.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
We've got there's an offer for people for a special offer for our listeners.
Special peoples.
Special people get a special offer. You can actually get a free trial set when you sign up to harrys.com/weeklyplanet and you just pay for the shipping, which is really cool. And in that you get a weighted ergonomic razor handle,
Real nice.
5 precision engineered blades with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel, and a travel blade cover.
Nice. That's handy, actually.
Absolutely, it is. And the good thing about these guys is, for one, we get them for free, which is great.
Sure, yeah,
I
that's
enjoy,
good.
that's one good
Yeah.
thing about it. But also, if you do buy them, they're much cheaper than you would get razors in a supermarket, and also I think better.
They are absolutely
Yeah,
better, yeah.
yeah. So every other company can go die in a ditch,
Jeez,
a
all right.
dirty razor-filled ditch.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's weird that's their slogan, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So that free trial set is harrys.com/weeklyplanet.
But not a Harry's razor-filled ditch, because then
No.
their death would be so quick.
It would be
because
so
the blades
quick.
are so sharp and good.
It's crazy.
That it whoosh, dead
No,
immediately.
I want a rusty, drawn out
That's
death.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's harrys.com/weeklyplanet for your free trial set.
Hey, speaking of a rusty, drawn-out death, let's talk about a movie this week.
You know what is good about this?
Yes.
That there is a silver lining in this Transformers film.
Yes.
It made
ends.
It made $63 million in its opening weekend.
Which is not good,
Which
right?
is not
I'm
good.
learning.
I mean, it's good, but
Yes.
it's the lowest Transformers US opening ever, and Age of Extinction did $100 million.
Right.
So that's a big drop. And also, it opened on Tuesday. So that's a long
So it's had a long
opening
time
weekend.
to not make that much money. Right, okay.
Now, should I talk about how I've been temporarily barred from Paramount screening lists?
Yes. If nothing else we talk about in this episode, we should definitely talk about that.
Okay, so what happened was there was a Transformers screening,
Like an official one.
like an
a media
official one, and so I ticked off me and you to go.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, there's one around the corner from me. And because I was by myself with my
Yeah.
kid for the 2 weeks, I'm like, I won't drive into the city.
Yep.
I'll just go and see that, and then I'll just review it. 'Cause
And you
it'll-
said, would I like to go to that one instead of the media one? And then I remembered the one close to you has a pizza joint in it.
That's right.
Where I can get a little pizza and a full-sized garlic bread and bring him into the cinema. So I said I'll go to that one as well.
Absolutely. So I emailed them back and said, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, but no, I can't. So anyway, so I went and saw it on Tuesday night at a public screening.
And you said to me,
Mm.
the great part about this is, if I went to the media screening, there'd be an embargo on
Yeah.
my review, and I couldn't just review it straight away.
Yeah.
But if I go to this public screening, I can. And I said, that's an interesting loophole. Are you sure that's correct? And you said, yes, that's definitely
I was
correct.
like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So basically, I got home and I put my review out, and it is, look, it's a brutal review. I don't know if you've seen it. Like, it's not kind. I don't think I say one nice thing about it. But anyway, the embargo apparently broke at 9 a.m. here, which
Yes.
because I didn't really check it, because I'm like, well, I don't need to know that anymore. And then I got an
I
email.
found a loophole. I'm in the clear.
Yeah, I got an email at 5 to 9 which said, you've broken the Transformers media embargo by several hours.
Uh-huh.
You need to take down your review.
Yes.
So I emailed back. I was like, hey, guy.
Yep.
I understand, like, I see where you're coming from, but I actually went to a public screening.
Uh-huh.
Here's my ticket, so I sent them my ticket. But look, if you still want me to take it down, I will. That's fine. That's fine with me. And they said, oh no, actually it's past the embargo time now, but because you initially signed that you were going, even though you then said that you weren't,
Right, okay.
that still counts as breaking the embargo.
Ooh.
And I said, well, look, fair, hey, it's your show. So
sure,
if you want to, if that's fine. If you want to stop me from going to see movies with you guys, I get it.
Yeah,
I
sure.
get them for free.
Yep.
And so basically I got an email back, and he was very nice, and he said, oh, listen, the word has come from the higher ups that we're going to give you a temporary kind of hiatus.
Oh,
from
yeah, sure.
seeing-
You're being put in time out.
I've been put in time out
in the naughty
for
corner.
a few months. And he was very nice about it. It wasn't aggressive. It was just, this is how it is. And I went,
Imagine if he was. Maybe if you got a call from a block number and you're like, hello, and he's like, you son of a bitch. I know where you live.
yeah, so now I can't see.
Or it's just somebody's just tapping on your windows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess this could have gone way worse than what it did. Because I guess well, I don't know. I feel like because I told them I wasn't going, that I'm kind of in the clear.
Right.
But I understand where they're coming from. And like I said, it's their show. But it may have been a different situation if I had have said kind things, but I did not. So
yeah,
there you go.
right.
I also didn't think anybody would really notice either. Like,
Okay.
no, that's not true. When I got the email, I was surprised that anybody noticed, because I
Right.
kind of forgot that, like 100,000 people saw this.
Right, uh-huh.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, do you want to just do all spoilers, because who
Yes.
cares?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll start with this. What did you think the story was?
I can answer this. There's a magic thing, and the good guys have to get it before the bad guys get it.
Yeah.
Now, which Transformers movie am I referring to there?
This one and all ones.
All the other ones, yeah.
Including the cartoon.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you like this film at all?
No. Oh, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this movie and the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
So this movie is barely a Transformers movie.
Yeah. It's
So-
less Transformers movie than the other Transformers
Yeah.
movies.
So as far as like the plot goes, there's so few okay, so here's what I liked about this movie initially. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, the first couple of minutes I'm like, maybe they've improved some stuff. Like one of the things that I hated in all the previous ones is that all the Decepticon character models look exactly the same.
Yes.
They're just sort of grey and brown, and they look like crabs.
Yes.
Right? But in this one, early on we see Barricade, who was the police car
Yeah.
one from the first one.
Yep.
And he's got...
Who I thought was dead, but I guess I looked it up and he didn't.
Oh,
he
great.
was not dead.
Good on him.
Anyway, go on.
But then when he transforms into a robot, he still keeps the blue and white color scheme.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I could recognize him from, in a
Some of
battle
the other
sequence.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Megatron has a new character, like a face model.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can sort of recognize facial expressions in this character now.
Right.
So but then the rest of the Decepticons are just, the design is just like, they're covered in graffiti and gold chains and green mohawks. Like they're all Suicide Squad extras.
that was very evident.
Yeah, right.
Especially in the introduction of them.
Yeah.
How Suicide Squad was that?
So Suicide
Why would you
Squad.
steal that part from Suicide Squad in particular?
Yeah.
Anyway. Actually, I didn't mind that in Suicide Squad. I was like, oh, that's a fun little introduction.
It's kind of comic booky, yeah.
But they're all the same and they're all really expendable. So
Yeah,
why
exactly.
be like, well, I don't even know what any of their names were. What were some of their
One was
names?
called Nitro Zeus.
Yeah, Nitro Zeus. But
There was probably a bone breaker or a bone shaker.
yeah.
You had to guess.
And one of them also wasn't let out, which was they're like,
That's
nah,
right, yeah.
I thought actually that bit I didn't mind.
Okay.
Because so Megatron's dealing in getting some of his Decepticons released for whatever reason. Because, I don't know, because Autobots, Transformers are outlawed and hunted, but also the government is okay with working with just the Decepticons.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just the worst ones.
Yeah, right.
It makes
very
zero
strange.
sense. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so the plot of this movie, so there's so few Transformers and so little transforming in the movie, which I feel we'll get to later.
And it's mostly in the middle where that happens.
But I feel
yeah.
I would be willing to bet a lot of money that this wasn't a Transformers script initially, and they added, like, it was like a fantasy action adventure film that somebody already had, and then they
Right.
tacked on Transformers at the last minute. Because as we know, there is now a Transformers think tank script machine of like various people who are just there to build more Transformers plots. Apparently Robert Kirkman was in it for 5 minutes and then he had to leave because of foot surgery. And then he's since come
I can't be here. I've got foot surgery.
For how long? Months and years.
Forever.
Yeah. But what I think, so with this movie, if you take out if you take out Mark Wahlberg's character in his entirety, and like the better part of an hour it takes him to get to London, or England, where all the action takes place, and then you take out all the Transformers, what this movie is, it's a movie about a woman who doesn't believe in the mythic history of England, who discovers that magic is real,
Yes.
and as the last descendant of Merlin, has to find a mystical artifact that only she can use to save Earth from like a supernatural force from another world. So if you take out like a third of this movie, there's still a full movie in it.
Right. I mean, it's barely a plot, but you're right.
But that's
Yeah.
like, it's like they got this think tank together and they were like, you got any ideas? And somebody had like a Game of Thrones Mother of Dragons meets Tomb Raider meets National Treasure, and they went they went home on Friday and they added Transformers in, and then on Monday morning he was like, here you go, and he gave it to Michael Bay, and Michael Bay's like, well, this is massively bloated and overlong, and if we take out any of the Merlin stuff, it won't make any sense, or it'll make less sense than it normally would. Perfect. You've
do
written
it.
the perfect Transformers movie.
I'm already filming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was okay. So, and the opening sequence is it straight away. It kicks off with the Arthurian. Is that how you say
Yeah,
that?
so this is
Legend.
Transformers throughout history.
Yes, which I kind of like that they've kind of always kind of been here, even though it contradicts a bunch of other stuff that happens
right.
in the movie. But there's an opening battle sequence where it's just people fighting greasier people.
Yeah, right.
But it's also it keeps kind of switching sides, so you don't know who's kind of who in the battle.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not shot very well. And then Stanley Tucci playing a Cockney drunk Merlin.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci is back as Merlin.
Yeah.
As people are like, oh, Merlin's not real. He's a combination of other people. But in this, Merlin is real, and he's not really a wizard. He's just some dude. But also,
He's like, blimey, I'm sozzled. And,
yeah, but he's just playing a guy from 2017.
Yes.
As Merlin. Like it would be funny if he were Merlin, but it makes no sense as to why he speaks like a modern day person.
Yes,
He doesn't.
yeah.
Whereas everybody else speaks like,
It's the
like how
era,
we would
yeah.
imagine that people of that era spoke.
Yeah.
So it's just like, are you from another time or what's happening? Are you Stanley Tucci from Transformers 4?
Well, that's weird,
and you
isn't
drank
it?
too much of that weird Korean milk, and now
you're tripping.
you trip. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is this an hallucination? That would make more sense.
You
right?
know, it would have been the only payoff to that could have been that the Stanley Tucci from Transformers 4 was the descendant of Merlin who needed to
right.
get the staff.
Exactly.
That's the only reason that would make sense.
Yeah.
And so I guess one of the big draw cards of this movie is that there's a dragon in it. Like a robot dragon. But there was kind of a robot dragon in the last one. I mean, it was a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But I was speaking to a friend of mine last night. It was like, what's Transformers like? And I'm like, it's no good, but every one of them has like a thing to get people in, except this time I don't think it worked. And he was like, what was the last one? I'm like, it was a dinosaur. And he's like, what's this one? I go, it's a dragon.
Yeah, right.
And he laughed.
Is that the new draw card? I think the draw card in this is that Optimus Prime is gonna fight Bumblebee.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
which is 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's 1 minute at the end.
It's not a terrible fight. It's
Sure.
fine. But also, if you like Optimus Prime, too bad, mate. He's not in it. He's sort of in it at the start. It turns out that he did freeze when he went straight. He went into space, froze, and then floated to Cybertron.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it turns out there was one robot woman there
Yes.
who was his creator. Also, I was reading an interview with somebody who, one of the story group people who said she's actually originally from Earth. So humans, she's a human. So humans created Transformers, but that doesn't make any sense either because the Transformers were around during the age of the dinosaurs, which means humans had to exist before dinosaurs unless there's time travel, which maybe there is.
It's almost like the people writing the script don't know what they're doing or talking about.
Yeah, this needs a reboot.
Yeah.
Big time. So I would
Have we really got into the plot yet? We kind of haven't.
I guess so. No, so the plot is they need to get Merlin's staff.
So there's two MacGuffins in this movie, right? So the first one is that Mark Wahlberg is Autobot Jesus.
Yes.
Because every one of these movies requires somebody to be Autobot Jesus.
Shia LaBeouf was Autobuff.
Probably Optimus Prime was at some point. Anyway, so
he is Autobuff, isn't he?
He is very Autobuff.
I thought he was going to get Transformers armor.
So basically,
it's just a sword.
So he's given a medallion that makes him Autobot Jesus, and then
because he's chaste,
Yeah.
which they make a big joke of him not having sex for a while.
And then
That's funny, isn't it?
it is funny. But at the end, he makes a sword, and everybody's very impressed, and that's it. There's nothing else to. So that is a complete write-off. So the second MacGuffin of this movie is, so the King Arthur and his merry men, they are in the Dark Ages in the 400 AD or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then they need a weapon to defeat the Saracens or the Visigoths or whoever they're fighting. It doesn't matter.
The Greasy
And so
guys.
Merlin goes off to find a weapon.
Yeah.
Because they say he's magic, but he's not really magic. So he goes to a cave where he knows the Transformers are hanging out.
Yep.
And then a mysterious red robot
Yeah.
who it's never revealed. You never see his face because who is it? It's nobody. they make a point. They make a point of keeping his face out of shot. So I spent the whole movie going, "Oh, does this turn out to be Bumblebee or Hot Rod or something?
Yeah.
Like is it a
Ultra Magnus?
Ultra Magnus? It could be any number of characters, and at the end we go, "Oh, was that
And he's
guy all
red,
along?"
which means he's probably somebody because the coloured ones are somebody.
Exactly, they're always
yeah.
somebody. But then he's never anybody. He's
Yeah.
just a knight. He's just one of the
12 whatever,
knights of Cyber whatever. And he gives Merlin a staff, and he says, with this staff, you can turn the tide of battle because it summons a dragon. You can control the dragon.
Yeah,
And
even
then-
though we're the dragon?
That's exactly the point. So that guy, he's the red transformer is the dragon because the Knights of Cybertron combine into the dragon.
Yeah.
So he's basically, he has enough free will to give Stanley Tucci a stick that controls him. Wouldn't he just say, we've had a chat and we've agreed to help you?
Yes.
It'd be like if...
It would be different if the dragon was separate from him.
Yeah, if it was in the bowels of the earth or something and
Yeah.
it came up. But it'd be like if I said, hey, can you, I'm going away, can you house sit for me? Hold on to this TV remote.
Yeah.
Just FYI, if you push the green button, I'm going to fight somebody. Wherever I am, I'm going to fight somebody. So, but don't. Oh, just to be clear, if you put the remote in the wrong room, if you leave it there, the world's going to end.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's its second function of the staff, is if you stick it in Stonehenge, all the geothermal energy of the Earth will go to Cybertron and the world will end.
Because the Earth...
Is Unicron. Which is like they went... Because in Transformers the movie...
Why is the Earth Unicron?
Transformers the movie from the 80s, Unicron was the biggest evil...
Orson Welles.
Transformers... Orson Welles voiced Transformer that was coming to Earth to destroy Earth
Yeah.
and consume it. So in this, they just went, just reverse them.
But also, that kind of kills any... This is another reason why they need to reboot this.
Yeah.
The Earth has horns like Unicron has
Right.
horns.
Yes.
If... We can never see Unicron without destroying the Earth.
In its entirety, yeah.
If he somehow separates himself from the Earth is in pieces.
Yes, right.
If he transforms, the Earth is ruined.
Yeah, right.
Everybody flies off into space.
Uh-huh.
So the Earth is a transformer,
Yep.
but we can never see that because it will destroy everything.
Yes. Oh, I think what somebody said to somebody, people want Unicron.
Just make what's coming to Earth Unicron.
I know, but
Why do we need Cybertron twice? This already happened.
This is the same plot as 3,
It's the
right?
same plot
But
as
anyway,
3.
back to the stick. Merlin's magic stick. There's no reason for it to exist. Like in the first movie, I don't remember all the MacGuffins of the other movies, but in the first one, there's the Allspark,
Yeah.
right? And if you have the Allspark, you can make new Transformers. And if the Allspark is destroyed, you can't make any new Transformers. So there's a point to it existing.
Yes.
But this Merlin stuff doesn't do anything. Like if it shot lasers or it healed the sick or it
Made Transformers,
made Transformers
or
or
whatever.
whatever, then there was a reason to keep it around.
Yeah.
But the Knights are like, we like humans and we want them to stick around, and this stick will destroy their planet, so let's blow it up. Let's just break it in half. Clearly the villain doesn't have the technology to build her own,
No.
otherwise she would have done it.
Yeah.
So why have it around?
Also, is it such a bad thing if the villain destroys Unicron?
Yeah, good point.
Because he's no good, is he?
I guess.
He's bad
No,
news.
I think they just want... I think somebody just said to a producer, people want Unicron, and they were like, what's Unicron? And they went, it's a big planet transformer. And they went, let's make it Earth. I don't think they'll ever reference it again.
You're probably right. Even though the Earth has giant fucking horns sticking out of it forever.
Yeah.
But also, you could have got more people in if you said there is a planet in this movie that turns into a man.
Yeah, right.
That everybody would have come to that,
Yeah.
except they didn't. They really dropped the ball.
I reckon if they bring Unicron back for the next movie, what'll happen is the horns will go back in, and then he'll come out of the ocean or something.
Yeah,
and he'll be
right.
big, but he won't be planet-sized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's fine, I guess.
Well, he's not as big as most planets, is he?
Yeah.
Is that? I don't really remember.
No, he's big enough.
It's like his moon sized.
Yeah,
or,
like
or
a
maybe
moon,
a bit
like a
bigger.
moon,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think this movie, like, it's bad.
Yeah.
But I think if you
You're taking a stand there.
I
It's a
am.
bad movie.
No, but if you enjoy these movies, I think a lot of people who like these Michael Bay movies, it's bad by those standards.
Oh, yeah.
And people are turning on it because it's not even as good as the other ones.
Yeah, this is the worst
Like
one.
I think it absolutely is the worst one. It's not as weird and leering as a lot of the other ones.
Right, yeah.
We should mention that. Okay, so there's a girl in this who's basically Rey from Star Wars. She's
Yeah.
kind of a girl.
Except she's 14.
Except she's 14, and she's kind of living with Transformers, and she's helping Transformers, and her only family is a Transformer which dies. And then she's like, "Who's left? Your other Transformer. You've got two.
You've got two,
Which is
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
nobody,
You've got a C-3PO or a BB-8. You've
yeah,
got something
or whatever.
like that.
Exactly. It's clearly like just a rip-off of Star Wars. But she's in the movie for the first like 20 minutes, and then she disappears, and then
Again,
she reappears
that
at the
the first bit,
Yeah.
because the whole thing is that the staff is in England
end. Yeah.
that we need to get to. So Mark Wahlberg has to get to England, but he doesn't.
No.
Because you could have just had the female character whose name I cannot recall.
Yeah. She's Peter Quill's mum.
Oh yeah, she is too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't
I actually
need
thought
him
she
in
was
it.
okay in
Yeah,
this.
she's good.
Yeah,
I mean, she's clearly they've gone just Megan Fox her
Yeah.
because she's got the Megan Fox look.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is something I didn't. Somebody pointed this out to me recently, like this week.
Mm.
Megan Fox's character in those movies is called Michaela Baines
Right.
in a movie directed by Michael Bay. It's him as a girl.
Well,
Weird, right?
Well, Mark Wahlberg dresses and has the hair of Michael Bay.
Bay, right.
He's got the trucker's cap and the
Yeah.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
And or the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 2 hair.
Yeah, right.
What's also... So, yeah, there is that opening sequence where... It's a dystopian present day, but it's not.
Yeah, right.
It's only one
Only in
part.
the junkyard where he lives.
Yeah.
Only that very small, like it's a...
And Chicago.
Yeah,
or,
right.
Or whatever.
Because I can't remember, because they're against the Transformers again, but I can't remember how Transformers 4 ended. Didn't it end with the Autobots saving everybody?
Yeah, and Optimus Prime flew into space,
Space,
and
right.
Mark Wahlberg cried.
Yeah, right.
But and I remember us saying at the time, we will never see the Dinobots again.
Yeah, we did
but
say
we,
that, yeah.
we do, but to no effect.
But there's also little baby Dinobots for no
reason.
They're never explained.
Do they grow?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah.
But there is, I know you turning Gabby a bloody bit of a wink and a nudge because we got your favourite thing in the Transformers movies, which is just Transformers roughhousing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the characters of Transformers 5. Transformers.
Yep.
There aren't any.
No.
There's Anthony Hopkins,
Yeah.
who seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, I think they gave him $1 million to just prance about.
Be British.
Yeah, be British. But one of the criticisms I've had of these movies is that the Transformers are thousands or possibly millions of years old, but they all act like children.
Yeah.
But
They're always vaguely threatening each other and tussling.
yeah, but I think I've refined. I don't think that's correct. What it actually is that every character, no character in any of these movies acts like an actual human being, including any of the human beings.
Yes, that's right.
When you watch one of these movies, the reason they're so off-putting in my mind is, and the reason my head hurts after I've watched all these movies, is because none of these characters feel like they exist outside of the scenes that they're in. Like they always, it's always like they're just waiting around. Like when we go to there's a scene early on in the junkyard, and Mark Wahlberg shows up at the junkyard.
Yeah.
And then the 3 Autobots that aren't Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, they just pop out of 3 different points in the junkyard, and they're like, "Hey, look at me! Here's my characteristics." Like, what were they doing before that? They were must have been sitting under piles of junk, motionless and silent.
Yes, that's right.
Until they have to interact with another character in the plot, at which point everybody's just silent and doesn't do anything and stays out of the way until another character comes along they have to interact with. And then they just yell exposition at each other and around each other.
That's like a 20-minute
until there's
wacky
until there's a
sequence.
fight or a scene change.
Oh, God.
So what this movie could have done with is instead of this where they just like, "Hey, it's me and I'm an army guy. Oh, I've dropped a grenade. It's gone off," kind of thing. Instead of that, there should have been a scene in the junkyard where the 3 other Autobots are sitting down with each other and they are saying, "I don't think Bumblebee is doing all right as a leader. I think maybe we should talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have a vote to see if another person's a leader, blah, blah, blah." But instead, what we get, it's always
But
like...
also the leader of what?
Yeah. But what we get is like Bumblebee will be standing there and another Autobot will just run at him and go, "You'll never be as good a leader as Prime." And then they'll scuffle. They'll just scuffle with each other.
Not seriously. It's just it's a tussle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no good. Did you notice there was a moment where it got a little bit creepy with that girl, and then
No.
they pulled right back?
No.
Like, there's like that boy with glasses is following around the girl, and he's like, "Oh, she's beautiful. Who is she? I want to marry her."
That's probably also
you're
Michael
you're
Bay.
my
That's Michael Bay's
girlfriend.
14-year-old boy.
Yeah, "You're my girlfriend," or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, this isn't. No,
Yeah, right.
don't do this again." But to his credit, he pulls right back from that. Like, I thought that was going to get real weird, like it did in the last one. Oh, God. And I know... I think this movie also has the problem, and we talked about this directly after we came out of it. There's in that chase sequence, it's very unclear what Transformers are in it.
Yeah, all right.
And also which of the cars are Transformers.
Okay, so let's go through the sequence. All right, so everybody has to get to England.
Yep.
And it takes a really long time, and then everybody has to go to Sir Anthony Hopkins' castle because we all want to be bored to death by exposition. So
it's a long.
So the people that get to the castle are Bumblebee. Well, they're humans, but who cares?
Yep.
Bumblebee.
Yep.
Hot Rod, who's the new Transformer in this one.
French.
Yep. And then there is a third Transformer who's like a World War I tank.
Yeah.
And he transforms into like a doddery old Transformer who's like, "Oh, I'm falling over, down I go." That's my personality, right? And there's for a minute there, it also seems like Anthony Hopkins has dementia as well.
Yes.
He's very confused for a minute about years and dates
when
and people.
he met Bumblebee
But then it's never referred to again. But so I think maybe they were mucking around and they're like, "How about we do this?" And then they decided against it. But they're like, "This take was funny, so let's put it in." Doesn't matter, it makes no sense. Anyway, they go in, we're bored to death by exposition for a bit.
Yep.
And then the army shows up to attack the Transformers and get him or what have you.
Yes.
And they're like, let's get out of here. So it cuts to the front of the castle again, and we've got the humans, who cares?
Yep.
We've got Bumblebee.
Yep.
We've got Hot Rod.
Yep.
And a third Transformer who isn't the dementia-riddled Transformer from before. It's a different Transformer.
Is it definitely a different Transformer?
definitely- 'cause
Is that the car that he's in?
We'll see the thing, because it's a different...
I don't know if that is a Transformer. I think that might
here's
just
the
be a
thing.
car.
So that's the thing, because we get it's a silver Transformer, and he's different from the dementia one. Like he looks different.
Yeah.
Right. And then he's not introduced. We don't hear his name or anything like that. Then it cuts away. We hear transforming noises.
Right.
And then it cuts to a chase sequence where we've got Bumblebee in car form, Hot Rod in car form, and then Anthony Hopkins
With the Cogman.
with a cog. Oh yeah, that's right. In an Aston, like a silver Aston Martin. But we don't. He's okay. So there's also a character called Cogman.
I shouldn't have said that because I'm just... This is tangents within
No,
tangents.
there's sense to that. But there's a character called Cogman who is human-sized robot.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. There's a scene during the exposition. His personality is that he's a lunatic.
Yes.
He's some sort of murderous lunatic.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene where Mark Wahlberg appears to impugn the honor of the female character, and then Cogman leaps the room to choke him to death.
It makes no sense.
Anyway, so then they're driving along Anthony Hopkins and Cogman are driving the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Right, they drive it for a while, and then they go, oh, we have to abandon this car. Then they go to another car, which is a red McLaren,
Yes.
right? And then they drive that for a while, and then Cogman has to leave, and then Anthony Hopkins gets into another car, which I didn't recognize, but I looked it up later. It's some sort of self-driving Chinese concept car.
He changes cars 3 times.
3 times.
Does he?
I think what happened is all these car companies just said, "Can you put our cars in?"
And he
they
forgot.
went, and they just went, but. So I looked it up. Hang on, I'll find. So I went to the Transformers wiki page,
Oh, God.
which is a mistake, obviously.
Yeah, that is.
Hang on, I'll find it. Bloody find it. Which is being continuously updated as people learn, like
trying to figure out
trying
what
to figure
happened.
out a continuous battle to determine what's happening. Anyway, so. This is what Wikipedia says about this whole sequence, right?
Okay.
So the first bit,
Yep.
the Aston Martin bit, right? And I think this is wrong, but it says Cogman is a polite, sociopathic, true, human-sized headmaster with a larger robot body that transforms into an Aston Martin DB11. Wrong. That's what it says.
Yeah.
But so that would imply.
I don't think he transformed into anything.
No, he doesn't. And why would he look like that?
And then transform into a...
So what that implies, first of all, if that's true, they never say that's what he is,
No.
and they never show him, because what a headmaster is he would transform into the head of a larger transformer, then that
Right.
transformer would transform into the Aston Martin.
Yes.
Because that's what it does in the comic book. So somebody's done some original research. Okay. But we never see him do that, and also, he's driving the car.
Yes, that's right. He's not part of it.
He's not part of the car.
Yeah.
Why would? What is the stealth advantage of turning into the head of a transformer and then transforming into the car and then you're driving the car? There's no right.
no sense.
Yeah.
But then they go to a submarine.
Oh wait, what I think happened. Here's the thing. Here's what I think happened is they put it. I think the idea was originally that Anthony Hopkins just has 3 cars.
Yeah.
And then I think what happened is Aston Martin emails them and says, "Hey, can you make our car a transformer? We'll give you another $1 million
Right,
bucks."
okay.
And they went, "All right, he's this guy."
Yeah.
And they just spent an afternoon drawing a new transformer.
Just, yeah.
And because
Just a plug-in.
yeah, right, just plugged it in. I think that's how they did it.
And because they didn't show the actual transformation, so
Yeah.
they only had the robot model and
Yeah.
the car, yeah.
Second point
Okay,
of
I'm
the
ready.
chase. No, but the second point of the chase is they get into a McLaren, right? Which
Yeah.
is a British car. They're driving it in Britain in a British car chase.
Yes.
It's an American one. 'Cause
Yeah,
the steering wheel's
the
on the wrong
wrong
side.
side, yeah.
So they just filmed Anthony Hopkins in America.
Yeah.
Get it? Look, I always thought these movies were car nuts.
Yeah.
Which I'm not, but I sort of know a little bit about them. So I'm like, wouldn't you get it right?
You think you would,
You'd
yeah.
think you'd get it right.
Yeah, and that, because it seemed like that was shot in England. It seemed like they actually went to England, so it's weird that they would have flown over an American
Yeah, right.
car to,
Yeah. Anyway, it
to
was
do
very
this.
confusing, and I think this is wrong.
Yeah, probably. We'll check in it tomorrow and see
Yeah,
what
see
it
what it
says.
says, yeah.
Also, they get in a submarine, which they say is either a transformer or a transformer transport, even
Yep.
though it doesn't transform, and it's also not big enough to put a transformer in it.
Because Bumblebee has to hang off the side.
It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
I didn't actually hate Cogman. I was like, he's whatever. He's not like a weird stereotype. I mean, he is a stereotype, but he's not like an offensive stereotype.
Right, sure.
Oh, God. Also, okay, Mark Wahlberg is on the run from the police.
Yes.
Even though the local sheriff in his town, who he calls Chief, and
Yes.
he's, the chief, and he's like, that's kind of racist. But if you say that's kind of racist, then you're hanging a lantern on it, it's fine. You can say whatever
Totally
you want.
right.
He knows where he is.
Also, he steals that guy's car.
Yeah.
Why? You're in a junkyard.
Yeah.
You've got so many cars.
You got so many cars.
Yeah. Again, that whole the first 40 minutes is completely unnecessary.
It's weird because people seem to know, even though he's on the run, a lot of people seem to know where he is.
Yeah, right?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Here's what I'm saying. You could keep the car chases, you could keep the military stuff, you could keep the submarine, you could even keep they're aliens. It would still work as this hypothetical movie that I think it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, so Optimus Prime, right?
Yes.
He gets turned evil pretty early on because he goes to find his creator. There's
Yep.
just one of them. Normally,
Yeah, it's very it's a largely unoccupied Cybertron, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is with grass on it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And then he spends a lot of the movie telling people that he's Optimus Prime or he's Nemesis Prime.
Yep.
And then at the very end, when he turns good or whatever, he does. I feel like it's nearly the exact same speech from the end of the first movie where he goes, "Autobots, this is our new home, and this is where we're going to
Yep,
live."
it's always
You've been
the same.
living there for like fucking 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Who are you talking to?
Right.
What is happening?
Yeah.
And there's also the bit where he runs in, like he doesn't show up for like an hour, and maybe 2.
Yeah, right.
And then he runs in and he steals the staff, and Mark Wahlberg's like, "Hey, man, this isn't you." And then Bumblebee kind of like, "Are we fighting?"
Yeah,
So then
right.
they just somehow they start tumbling around or whatever on the outside of the ship because they're in an underground ship, aren't
Stonehenge.
they?
It's under Stonehenge.
No, because they're above Stonehenge because they came out of the water.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
In a ship, and then the other knights show up and beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
And they're like, "How dare you betray us?" Where were you when he walked into the room where you were and just took it? None of you stopped him.
Yeah, right.
And then he's just on his knees going, "What did I do?" And they're just kicking him in the head.
Yeah. And then Mark Wahlberg shows up and saves the day. He did the one thing that he had to
He
do.
did the one thing. Also, I guess that sword is magic in the sense that
Excalibur, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But they're all Excalibur because they all have them.
Yeah,
Or was
right.
that Arthur's?
Dunno.
Or was it a Transformers?
We
I
don't
don't know.
know.
But he can stop the full weight of a Transformer with it.
Yeah.
He can just hold it out and it does the work for him. I don't know, man. I don't know.
This movie is a lot of tangents into. Here's the thing that I've discovered about this movie, because I've talked to a couple of people about it recently, is that anytime you try to criticize something, there's another criticism within the criticism.
that's right.
So you keep going back and forth. You just get weighed down by. Also, why is Megatron back?
Well,
Why is he back in his original form?
Because, well, he's sort of original form, but yeah, in the last movie he was Galvatron and he had a big hole in his chest.
And he was put into a transformium drone
Yeah.
that would transform into little cubes.
Yes.
But he's a regular transformer.
He's a regular
again.
Transformer.
Unexplained.
Unexplained.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he didn't like being Galvatron because the humans made him or whatever.
But how did he?
What about the soul? Was that ever?
But that's the thing. He had no spark, so how could he transfer into another body? Where'd the body come from?
Well, I guess they can change from cars to other cars, so I guess they
guess.
can change from.
Oh yeah, can we get back to this?
Okay.
Nobody again, like I said, if I went back to my 8-year-old self and I said, "Hey, when you grow up, there's gonna be live action Transformers movies," I would have been like, "Wow," and then I'd be like, "But a lot of the transforming takes place off screen." I'd be like, "Why?"
That's all you want to say.
Optimus Prime transforms once in this movie into a truck. It's off screen.
That's true.
Yeah. Why? It's almost like he's too old now, so he put something in his contract that says he doesn't have to transform anymore. And they just got a stunt truck.
Yeah, like Daniel Craig doesn't run in James Bond
Yeah, right.
James Bond movies anymore. Oh my god.
There's some I don't.
Okay, what about this?
Why are they not transforming? I don't understand.
What-
That's the whole bit. Like the first, they're all bad, but at least the first one, when Optimus Prime shows up and there's this. Like a 20-second sequence
Yeah,
where all the
it
bits come
circles him
apart
and
and all the bits and
comes
there's
up,
moving
yeah.
the gears and whatever.
Yeah.
At least he transforms.
Tad Hamilton's in this.
It's like they did a yeah, he is. Oh, he's so golden and his hair's so tall. But it's like they did market research and they went, you know what people don't like about these Transformers movies is the transforming.
Yeah.
Who were they talking
That's
to?
all people like.
Yeah.
All people want to see is Transformers. Even if, People, even though you get sick of it, and the last movie was just an hour of robots smashing each other,
Yeah.
that's better than this,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is nothing.
Yeah.
They go into a room with a staff, and the room tips, then it's 0G, and also one of them has a slow motion gun or something.
Oh yeah, Hot Rod has a time distortion gun.
He is Hot Rod in name only.
Yeah,
and look,
he's-
I'm not a stickler for Transformers lore or anything, but they take so much of it and just get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like way wrong. He's not even a Hot Rod.
Hot Rod has a time distortion.
He's not
gun.
a Hot Rod, is he? Just to be clear.
No, initially he's a Citron.
Yeah.
Because he's French.
Yes.
Like a.
But also they say you're not French. I guess none of them
he's
are
not-
anything.
Yeah, exactly. He's
They
not
just
French.
adopt
He
accents.
just has the accent. He can't shake it for some reason. And then he's a Lamborghini, which is Italian. It's not a Hot Rod.
Yeah, well, I guess Bumblebee isn't a bug either.
No, exactly right.
But anyway, but he's not called Bug.
No,
You see?
exactly. Yeah. Bumblebee now has an ability to break into pieces and reassemble himself.
I like
for
that.
no
I thought
reason.
that was all right.
I think Michael Bay saw an Iron Man movie and
Ah,
went, Iron Man
that.
suit can break into bits and fly around. Why
Yeah.
can't we have a Transformer do that? Have
Yeah.
Bumblebee do that. And one of his CG guys is like, fine.
Yeah, I guess that's not too
I
hard.
guess he's in pieces anyway in the
Yeah.
in the computer, so I guess I can just throw him around.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why
we can
not?
do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what
God.
maybe maybe somebody saw an error, like Michael Bay was watching the dailies, or like the animation dailies, and there was an error and Bumblebee just broke into pieces, the character model, and just went, have it do that.
That's fine.
Yeah, so he uses it once and never again.
No.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't need to do it because he's a giant robot.
Exactly.
He can just come in and just smash everybody.
Yeah, he could shoot everybody from a mile away because he's got a laser gun.
That's right. Also, Bumblebee gets his voice back, and
Yeah.
Optimus Prime says to him, I haven't heard you use your voice since back on Cybertron, except for 10 years ago when you used it at the end of the first
Transformers
movie.
1, yeah.
And also, it's established at the start of that movie that his voice box is recently damaged. So he was speaking just before and
That's
just
true, yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
They don't even know their own continuity.
Yeah. Also, in this current movie, Mark Wahlberg puts a new voice box in
Yes.
him, and he talks like a lady, and it's very funny because that's very funny. And then he tears the voice box out and he throws it away. And at the end of the movie, he talks.
Yes.
Did he get a new one?
Could he always?
Could he always?
But also, it's kind of implied in 2 that he can talk, but he
he just
chooses not to.
yeah.
I said last week that I normally didn't understand what he was doing because he speaks in like clips.
Yeah, right.
But I kind of understood him in this
Yeah.
for most
Well, he
of
said
it.
"sting like a bee," which is
Yeah,
his new
it's
catchphrase.
very good.
Yeah.
You looking forward to the Bumblebee spin-off next year?
Yeah, kind of.
I think,
Michael Bay's not doing it right.
and this is what I feared would happen. Not feared, I don't really care. Would happen. They've finally driven it into the ground as
Yeah.
Michael Bay's leaving. So now they're going to spend time trying to get this franchise back on track.
Yeah.
Except you've cornered yourself in terms of continuity because Unicron is the Earth and Bumblebee can talk and Transformers were dinosaurs with people and humans and whatever. And now they got to make sense of this mess in future movies.
Yeah,
in
right.
A franchise that people have dwindling interest in.
Correct.
They've really fucked it up.
Ta-da!
You finally did it.
Bumblebee in World War II is pretty good, though, isn't he?
Yeah, for that 3 seconds we saw it.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah, and I don't mind the character of Bumblebee, like
Sure.
this version of it. It's okay, and I guess I'll see a movie set in the 80s with him, I guess,
I
but
feel I have more bad stuff to say about this movie, but what do I have?
I could do some stuff about some letters that we got, some,
Oh, yes,
some
I'd
tweets
love to hear 'em.
while you're thinking about it.
Okay.
Why do some of them have dementia and some don't? Like Grimlock is a dinosaur age transformer,
Yeah.
and yet there's the World War one who maybe he is older has also dementia.
Yeah, right.
Has more dementia. Also, there was one from part 2 who was a jet who was like, I used to turn into a wheel in the Stone Age.
That's right.
But does he have dementia or is he just falling apart?
Dunno.
I don't know. I guess if you get hit in the head enough, you have dementia. I guess
Sure,
that's,
right, yeah.
That's the kind of the rule. Also, Megatron will be back because he just got kicked off the ship.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned it before, the whole crux of this movie, the selling point is that it's good guy against good guy. Optimus
Yep.
Prime's turned evil. It's 3 minutes. It's
Yeah,
maybe 3
Yeah,
minutes.
right.
Yeah. God. All right, here's some letters.
All
It's
right.
from Luke Crane. Transformers 5 sure was a movie, wasn't it? A shit movie.
Nice.
Got him.
That's
This
good.
is from John. Did you guys notice the ridiculous constant aspect ratio switching?
Yes.
And so much cussing. Shia LaBeouf too. The aspect thing was really jarring. Was that just me? I mentioned that in my review because
No, is it
it's
all-
not sequences, it's during dialogue.
Yeah,
and,
totally, right.
And often it will be like, it'll show Mark Wahlberg and then it'll be like, the girl who's in the stripper dress, which they say, you're in a stripper dress.
Yeah. You know what I liked in this movie? The mums. All the British mums
Oh, yeah.
having a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And
See,
li-
that's the thing. The British mums would have worked in a movie about a woman with the thing and she's descended a mill and she's got to do the magic stuff. You have the mums and the mums are like, ooh, why don't you just
What's
get a
going on
man?
here?
Blah, 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 right? That's fun with the mums.
Would you watch a movie called British Mums?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, notice how they kind of... Well, we talked about last week whether Shia LaBeouf would turn up or whether he's a draw. I guess not, because he's used to a comedic effect. Because they try and make him kind of sleek and sexy and tan in the Transformers movies. But in this one, the picture of him, he's just a goof. He's got
Yeah, right.
he's got Kramer head. He's just
Yeah,
like...
right.
"Ugh."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, God. And there was a lot of swearing in this. Like, for
Yeah.
a kid's movie, there was a lot of like, you shithead, you piece of shit, you
Yeah.
garbage. Like, I don't know.
This is a movie I feel for divorced dads to take their kids to. Because Mark Wahlberg's the divorced dad.
He's a divorced
right?
dad.
He's the
No,
divorced.
she died.
Yeah, no, but that's not the point. The point is you see yourself as you're the divorced dad. He's a dude and he's on his own,
He's just trying to
but
make
he's
it
got
work.
a daughter, but he's also meeting a hot lady
Also, why can't he talk on the phone?
because they'll trace the call or something.
But they could trace it anyway. Why do they need his voice to trace
Exactly.
it?
Surely if they know her voice, surely if they know his voice, they know her voice.
Also, it could be when he's calling, and she presumes it's him. It could be just some creepy
Pervert.
frat boy.
Yeah, it's probably a pervert.
Just listening to it, like, bare her feelings.
Hey, are you still 17 like in the last movie?
Oh, God. It's from Jesse. I have a question after seeing The Last Night. Did Michael Bay make Wahlberg grow his hair to make him look more like him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say almost
absolutely, yeah.
certainly. It's from Joshua. Just saw the new Transformers film. I wish my eyes would transform into trucks and drive my head to a better movie.
That's pretty good.
Just stop. James Stanley said, I enjoyed the last few movies, but I think Michael Bay has broken me as a Transformers fan.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, the female lead character, the actor's name is Laura Haddock,
Yep.
which I feel is very British.
That is
and
British.
her character's name is Vivian Wembley, which I feel is even more British.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's nuts. This is from this is from Tom. With a Transformers episode soon, will we get another Starscream impersonation contest? Do you want to do
Probably.
that?
You know what? You know what's good?
Starscream's head?
Starscream's head is in this, and
I actually recognized it.
Yeah.
I went, I remember what he looks like.
Megatron picks the head up and goes, "Oh, Starscream, my treacherous friend." He's not treacherous in the movies. He's very loyal in the movies. He's only treacherous in the cartoon.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he does betray him, does
Yeah,
he?
no,
But
exactly.
they're all the Decepticons are sniveling cowards anyway.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, also, I forgot another good. The best scene in this movie, I feel, is the conversation between. So it's the conversation between Anthony Hopkins and John Turturro on the phone.
On the phone.
On the phone. That's the. So
Is
what
that when
they
you
did,
turned to me and went, 2 Oscar-winning
well, they're
actors?
not. So Anthony Hopkins is an Oscar winner, and
Yeah.
he's been knighted for his services to acting.
Right.
And John Turturro has won an Emmy, and he's like an indie movie, like
Darling and-
superstar.
great, yeah.
And they were relegated to a scene where they have a conversation on the phone. They probably weren't even there.
Well, it's weird that John Turturro is in this movie because he's just in Cuba and he's like, I want to be a knight like you, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, right.
Why? You're in Cuba.
Yeah.
You don't even turn up again. You don't even do the bit where you're standing under a Transformer's testicles and you do whatever happened in part 2.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Yeah, great.
Do you think in a better franchise, if there was a John Turturro cameo like that, like Captain America shows up in Thor: The Dark World? You're
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, that's a nice little surprise. But for this, it was just, I like John Turturro a lot,
Uh-huh.
but it was just a lot of who cares?
Yes.
Who cares about any of this? Mm-hmm. God, I really didn't like it. I don't know if that's. It wasn't as creepy though as the last one. To its credit.
Oh, yeah, totally,
He pulled
yeah.
back on that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Steve Buscemi's in this movie.
Yeah, he's the junk robot.
He's a junk dealer who, again, can just acquire junk and then show up at a junkyard in full view of the whole world. And
Yep.
nobody says anything.
Nobody says anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Also,
Oh, here we go.
when they decide to stay behind and try and get the staff or stop the staff,
Yes.
Laura Haddock,
Yes.
Vivian Wembley Wexley, whatever her
Yes.
name is,
Uh-huh.
they're going to parachute off Cybertron.
Yep.
But she goes, no, I'm going to get the stuff. She throws off her parachute.
And then Mark Wahlberg also throws off his
you
parachute.
can still wear it's a backpack.
Yeah,
What are you
exactly, it's
doing?
madness.
You're probably going to get thrown off this platform at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
Yeah.
that's it. Is that it?
That's pretty much it. What else? Also, Decepticon characters. One of them turns into. We're talking about the confused. I just remembered it. Talking about all the confusing character models. One of them turns into the same kind of truck Optimus Prime is, except he's green. And for a lot of the movie, I'm like, is that Megatron?
I didn't even
because
notice.
he turns into
He's
a
in
truck in the last one.
No, he's
right?
a jet.
Yeah, now he's a jet. It's fine.
Got a sword.
Yeah, he's got a
I
sword.
can't
and a
believe they
jet.
negotiate with him, with Megatron.
Yeah, right?
Insane.
Madness.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a big worst movie ever for me.
yeah, it is.
This is.
It's true.
This is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's one of the worst ones because it's somehow more boring.
I think it's one of the. I think it's the worst. It may not be worse than the other ones. It is, but it's more that it's exponentially worse because it's the same thing as all
Yes,
the other ones.
yes.
Nobody's even attempted to make it better slightly.
No.
Nobody's.
No lessons were learned.
No. I don't know if it's Michael Bay doesn't read reviews or he doesn't care. That does seem kind of like him. It's
very
Or maybe
possible.
it's also possible that he does read reviews and he's like, no, I'm correct and I don't care. Or it's also entirely possible that he knows these movies are garbage and he doesn't care. Or he thinks they're great because every scene is filled with shrapnel.
Yeah.
And that's what he thinks is good.
Yep. Could be that.
Could be that.
Could be
any
any
number
or
of
all
thi-
those things.
Any number of things.
Anyway, so he's finally sunk the ship and he's out.
Yeah.
he's gone.
This is a review from The Verge.com.
Okay. I'm gonna go and watch a whole lot of reviews and read because I haven't touched any because I didn't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to
Fair enough.
double up on things.
The film, this says, the film's climax is a thoroughly enjoyable, utterly ridiculous action sprint that's predictable but entertaining.
No,
You've burned all your credibility, The Verge. You are so wrong.
nothing about that is correct.
God, it felt long, didn't it?
It did, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was one of the shorter ones,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's never good, is it?
No.
But there was a point where you turned to me and you went, "There's half an hour left in this."
Yeah, what I did during the movie is I got my ticket stub out and I looked at the runtime and I looked at my watch and I went, oh, still going, isn't it? Got a lot more plot to this. Why? Wrap it up.
Well, they did, didn't they?
Yep.
Forever.
Yep. Yep.
That's what we're reading.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna read.
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? Did you read it, or is there something better that you?
Literally anything would be better at this point. Again, I remember. I don't know if you recall. I read my ticket stub, and that was
Yes.
quite entertaining compared to the movie that we're watching. But we both started watching Glow, right?
Yeah.
Have you finished it?
No, I'm like two, 3 in. Yeah, I really like it.
It's very good. So
yeah.
it's Alison Brie is she's down on her luck. She's just trying to get through in the workaday world
of the 80s.
of the 80s, but then she answers a casting call.
Yep.
For a TV show that
To be a wrestling.
to be a wrestling lady.
Yeah.
And it's a show about friendship and
How far are you in?
I'm like two and a
Yeah,
bit.
it's fun.
It's
I like
good,
it a
yeah.
lot. And
Real nice.
Grimm. And Mark Maron's in it.
You like Maron's in it?
Yeah.
I enjoy him in things.
Yeah, he's great. He's a good. He plays a good kind of burnout kind of
Yeah.
dude. Doesn't
I haven't
he?
finished American Gods yet. Have you finished American
No,
Gods?
I still have only watched the first one, but I've heard from people who have finished it that it's good. That it's
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I'll get round to it. I got a list, Mason.
Oh yes.
But what I did read this week was Darth Vader issue number 2.
Oh yes.
I'm enjoying that Darth Vader comic. It delves into the backstory. It picks up directly after he gets in his armor,
Okay.
and he has to go and get a kyber crystal for his new lightsaber. And it's revealed. It's like a slight spoiler alert for the comic. That at the end, that the person he's going to get it from is this Jedi who's been in hiding for decades, and all he's been doing, this Jedi, is training to fight.
All right.
So, I'm really looking forward to issue 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who's he been fighting? One of those wooden dummies?
Good question.
If he's doing that with a lightsaber, he's going through a lot of wooden
Yeah,
dummies.
he would be, wouldn't he? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe he's not that good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he's very muscular, if that counts for anything.
Does there need to be a storyline where Darth Vader gets the kyber crystal for his lightsaber?
Does it need to be anything?
No.
Yeah. No, not necessarily, no.
There's no need for anything.
No, but I
think.
think that's an interesting way. I don't know, because we don't know where his lightsaber came from, and I think
guess,
there
yeah.
there is an interesting story being built around it.
And there's
which I like.
I do like the idea that every lightsaber is different and every person has a story behind.
Yeah.
Because it's part of their training is to. I guess that's That makes sense.
It's part of their journey, Mason.
Yeah.
Like
but
all of
you'd
our journeys.
think that the Emperor would just give him one.
Well, they have that conversation.
All right.
It's like, I could give you one, but to what end?
It'd be
know.
easy.
Yeah, exactly. You don't
could
learn any.
You could start killing people real early.
I could give you an Oscar, Mason.
Yeah.
I could.
But you'd rather I spend 10 years as a shoe. I understand.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, it's just it. You know what I've been doing? I've just been replaying the events of Transformers 5 in my mind for a week.
That's not healthy.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've done.
The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away.
I know they're here right now. We're going to do letters. Now that you mention it, there was no Linkin Park on this. I thought every Transformers movie was legally required to end with
I don't even know if that's true.
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
It feels like it is, though, doesn't it?
I feel like I'm so sick of talking about them. Even though we've only done 3 episodes because we did another one. We talked about the other in the series. I'm sick of them.
Yeah,
They
right.
I'm tired. I feel burnt out.
They're
from doing
exhausting
that. Yeah.
movies. That's what I'm talking. The build up of these. It's just like a build up of when you watch.
How is it worse than I thought it was going to be?
When you
and
watch
I thought it was going to be
when
bad.
you watch these movies, it's like a build up of toxins in your bloodstream. You start out and you're like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing one of these again. I guess I'm sure it'll be bad, but maybe it'll be fun. And then you're just brought down by the terribleness by the end.
Yeah.
Because nobody in these movies is real. Anyway, letters.
Yeah. I should quickly mention we did another Caravan of Garbage episode last
yeah.
week. It's what is it? It's a bloody. It was a really bad Transformers game. That's
From
up
the
right
NES
now.
from back in the day.
And we got a couple of Spider-Man games coming up this week
Yes.
on the Super Nintendo or Mega Drive. I can't remember, but I'll try and get that up on the Patreon early. Ben's editing that one, so as soon as it is, I'll throw that up there. But if not, that will be
Nice.
up Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah. So those games we played are a bit more fun than the previous one,
Oh,
which might
boy.
not make for as good a video necessarily.
Sure, right.
But no, we'll see. Mm-hmm. As from Camille. Unless you want to do a letter.
No, you go
first. If you want to reach the show on Twitter, you can hashtag #WeeklyPlanetPod and we'll grab a couple out of the ether.
Yeah, or
Net.
you can just email weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
Two options.
Two options.
Twoptions.
Options.
Is the hype will be / still the same for Justice League compared to Avengers?
For me, it is.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like the hype...
Wait, do you mean Avengers 3?
No, I think they meant I think he means the original Avengers.
Oh.
Because I remember there was a big build up to that, but I feel like because not all the DC movies have been great,
I think there's more now.
because they haven't been great, so there's an expectation.
Yeah.
But I think there was a more of a positive looking forward to the Avengers than
Yeah,
there was
right.
Justice
Sure,
League,
yeah.
would you say?
I think people are very excited to see the Avengers.
Yeah.
But I think because there's been several bad ones and a really good one, and now there's been reshoots and a second director's been brought on.
Yeah.
I think people are like, this has got to be good, and I've got to see it opening day, so I
Yeah.
know for myself.
This
I think
is
this
you
is-
talking, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a big opening.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's going to be a butt. It's a butthole. That's the big opening.
Good joke.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good joke. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I feel like the anticipation for this, I don't really remember, but I remember in 2012, I feel like the Avengers off the back of the movies that came up,
Yep.
came to it and that coming together. And because we'd never seen a superhero team up movie like that,
Yeah.
except probably League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Yeah,
which
sure,
is the coming
right.
together of great comic book characters.
All my childhood heroes. Alan Quatermain, Tom Sawyer.
I was going to say the guy from One Tree Hill, but it's a different guy. It's not
Yes.
him. He looks like him.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Richard Roxburgh.
bruh, a British man.
Yes.
La Femme Nikita woman, whose name I can't remember. Remember
Yeah,
her?
Sort of.
Yeah, good. No, I feel like the hype for Avengers was bigger. Or the positivity, I should
Yeah,
say.
sure, yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, everybody's obviously still looking forward to it. But it's been, you got to think also it's been another 5 years since the Avengers. So we've seen a lot of stuff since then.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, I still think people still do well, even if it's not good. Do you want to do your letter or do
Oh,
you
yeah,
want
here's
me
a
to do my
letter.
tweet?
Okay, so this is from Ruben French on the email.
Okay.
Uh,
Is it a scoop? Is it a hot
It's
scoop?
from New York. It's not.
Hot scoop or poop or whatever we said. What was it again?
Look, it's a scoop. If I had to choose, it's a scoop. It's not
Okay
poop.
then.
So,
A hot scoop of
so based
poop.
on that,
Yeah.
it seems Warner Brothers have decided to. He says it seems Warner Brothers have decided to take advantage of the talent Marvel missed out on by hiring Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking, what DC property would you like to see Edgar Wright direct? Because I read an article this week
Ah, yeah.
where Edgar Wright, he went on various news outlets and a podcast, and he basically said, and we were talking earlier about how big movie studios, they don't want a director, they want
They want
a monkey.
gun for hire.
They want a gun
whatever,
for hire trained monkey kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he recently spoke about Ant-Man, and he basically said, they wanted,
They want to do their own draft.
yeah, they wanted he wanted to make a Marvel movie. They didn't want to make an Edgar Wright
Yes,
movie,
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
So do you think should he?
it's
do
all
it?
come to a head. Do you think he said that because of the Lord and Miller thing?
I think that's
And
probably why it
and he went,
came up,
well,
yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Let's say it.
I'm really looking forward to Baby Driver.
Me too.
Yeah.
He's trying to make this movie for years.
Yeah. No, it's apparently it's great too.
Yep. Mhm. Yeah.
No, I don't want Edgar Wright to. I want Edgar Wright to just make whatever he wants.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if
Yeah, sure.
he made a DC movie, but
Uh-huh.
like if he did a Swamp Thing, it would probably be pretty good.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, what do you
I guess
reckon?
we have to. What are his strengths? I guess.
I think he's really versatile.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I didn't know he could do fight sequences until This Is the End, and then he did an amazing one.
Yep.
And apparently there's a really amazing...
The World's End.
The World's End, sorry. There's a really amazing car chase in
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, even though he's never done one before.
Right, okay.
So I think his strengths are...
How does he do that then? Like,
I don't know.
No, but I mean in the sense of like, if he's never done a fight scene, is he the one going down? Okay, the fight's you're gonna do this and this and this, or is he hiring somebody who's great at fight choreography and getting them to do it?
Right, yeah.
Is that his skill set? I don't
know, Mason. Maybe we might ask him.
Oh, we're gonna find his hotel room when he
Yeah,
comes
we'll
to
ask him,
Melbourne
yeah.
and then
Can
fight
you
him.
tell people that? There's a very, very loose chance that we
Oh,
might...
don't say that.
Okay. I'll cut all this out.
No, you give it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess he's versatile. He's
Yeah.
bloody-
And maybe he surrounds himself with people who know how to do this stuff.
I would like to see maybe a Hitman movie. Not
Okay.
Agent 47
Yeah, back up,
Hitman,
yeah.
but DC's Tommy Monahan Hitman, who is
He's a fun, irreverent fellow,
as we know,
isn't he?
he's he was a hitman that only killed bad guys, who was bitten by a giant space bug and got X-ray vision and telepathy. So then he decided only to kill super bad guys.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's
so-
that great comic. It's your favorite comic you always talk about.
Yeah, the
What's
one where we meet Superman.
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Man. Hang on, let's message my mate Lemma.
Okay, cool.
Apologies.
You are very welcome.
Not to you, to the listeners.
Oh man.
You can die in a razor-filled ditch.
All right. Harry's Razorfield ditch.
If you skip the ad, you won't know the context
right.
of that amazing joke.
Yes.
No, so you think he'd be better at a more offbeat character than, say, a Superman?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
yeah.
And also, there's a lot more leeway, I think.
Yeah,
for
you can
that
do what
kind
you
of
want.
character. Do whatever you want.
yeah.
Exactly. Give him some room to move.
All right, I will.
And that character exists sort of underneath the existing DC universe. Like
Yeah.
he, at one point he has to literally go to the Justice League satellite to perv on Wonder Woman. He doesn't have to, but he does it anyway.
He doesn't have to.
But anyway, like
no one's making him.
no, exactly. But like he exists in this grungy sub superhero world kind of thing. So I
Yeah,
think you could be anything. That character could have any storyline he wanted, and it wouldn't have to impinge on the DC universe whatsoever.
Right, gotcha.
You could even have him inadvertently save the world, and nobody knows about it. He's one of
Yeah.
those characters, which I think they would totally
I'm all
work.
for it. What about a Constantine, a John Constantine?
Constantine would work also. That's he's good. He's good with fights. He's good with gunfights. He's good with weird supernatural stuff.
Yep, sure.
Why not a Constantine?
Why not Constantine?
Why not? Whoever drops out of Justice League Dark, give him Justice League Dark.
Yes. Why not? Mm-hmm. From Clayton Anders. What are your thoughts on film series that never change directors? Transformers, Mad Max, Lord of the Rings, etc. Some of those are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Some of those, like Mad Max is... Oh, Mad Max dips but in 3.
Yeah,
and
I
one's
don't-
not great.
I don't think we have enough information to make that decision. Like,
Yeah.
I think that the industry, the world of franchises is still kind of youngish.
Yeah, I guess you could... Yeah,
Like-
yep.
So I think it's also kind of the luck of the draw.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, Lord of the Rings is great, obviously, but that turned into The Hobbit, didn't it?
Yep,
when
sure
those
did.
started. And Transformers is garbage.
Yeah.
So, I know, I think there is value in getting directors with different visions coming in. I mentioned this in that Han Solo video I did, but what James Cameron did for Alien, pretty good stuff, am I right?
Yeah.
And there are examples of that, but it also goes the other way where a director will come on board and then make a much worse version of what came before it.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I think You want somebody who knows what they're doing, but with a different vision if you're going to change directors. Or just do whatever.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have anything in me, Mason. It's okay. What are we doing next week?
Don't know. What are we doing next week?
I don't know.
Yeah, we got a gap before Spider-Man: Homecoming comes
Yeah, we
out.
could do a Spider-Man something or something else. We've done a few Spider-Man episodes, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think I might be able to see it this week. I don't know whether that's going to
Somebody's
happen or
doing right,
not.
aren't they?
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
But
good.
We'll see. We'll see. Also, there's that Sony. There's that competition which I'll link below.
Oh yeah.
Where if you want to go to a Melbourne screening, they're giving away double passes. I'll link that below. And the ultimate Spider-Man fan is going to put together the fan event. So it'll be a very exciting...
Who's the Ultimate Spider-Man
we
fan?
don't know yet. Is it you, Mason?
Oh yeah.
Is it you?
No, it would have been me in like the early 90s. But
Okay,
not
good.
Anymore.
Not you anymore?
Not anymore, no.
Oh, that's a shame.
No.
Yeah, if only that man was
What
here.
if I'd won and then I'd just shown up and I'm like, the Clone Saga ruined it for me forever. And then I just push things over. Push the popcorn machine over.
That would be your prerogative, Mason.
I know,
as the
because I'm the
ultimate
big
Spider-Man
winner.
fan.
If you're the winner, you can do that.
You can do
push
what
over
you
anything
want.
you want.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you've got a topic suggestion, shoot it through on Twitter, and we'll do it. Unless there is a movie out this week that I've forgotten about, then we'll do that.
Sounds great. A movie we can't remember is coming out. That'll make some great fodder for an episode, I feel.
All right, what are we doing? What's the
You can
things?
find us on Weekly Planet Pod on Gmail and Facebook and Twitter and Bandcamp.
Yep.
Let's see, if you want to support the show, you can go to... Oh, wait, I'm not Mr. Sunday Movies. You're
You
Mr. Sunday
wish,
Movies.
Mason.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
I'm Mr. Sunday Movies.
If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies.
Yep.
You can throw in $1 a month. You can go to our Amazon affiliate link, which is in the bloody episode description. You click on that, you buy something on Amazon. We get a cut
we
somehow.
get a kickback. I don't know how
We
it
don't know how.
works.
As soon as they figure out, we're gonna get arrested. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, t-shirts and whatever.
Yeah, t-shirts.
PlanetBcasting.com has a whole lot of other great podcasts you might want to
You
listen
know what we
to.
could just say is just go to planetbcasting.com and that
Everything's
probably has
there.
all the information.
Everything you need to know. Yeah.
It's got all our friends and not all our friends. I've got some bloody friends outside of podcasting.
Is that true?
Let me tell you, not really.
I've never met them.
Yeah, you've never met it, exactly. Yeah, you can just see all the other shows on Planet Broadcasting.
Yeah.
You can bloody check out some tweets and some
Some good times.
stuff, links, merch.
Yeah. Links, tweets, merch.
So you can sign up for the newsletter,
Yeah.
which is great. Our friend
Rob
Rob Collings.
who actually did an animation this week on Transformers Age of Extinction, where we did a segment called Hey, You Remember the Bit?
Yeah,
and we
right.
just named the whole bunch of stuff that happened in Age of Extinction. I've forgotten we did it, but I'll link that below as well.
It's real
He put
good.
that up on his...
He's at the Weekly Planet on
He
Twitter.
is, yeah. And
Thank you
also
to-
Raw Collings, yeah.
Oh, this is confusing now.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our themes.
Yep.
Thanks to everybody who bloody listens.
And does a nice review.
Yeah, it does a nice review, exactly.
Yeah, it's good.
You don't have to. You can just give a nice review to your friends.
You absolutely
Just
can.
be like, give this a listen. It's all right.
Give it a go.
Give it a listen.
Yeah.
This guy's very poorly. He's been banned from Paramount screenings, and they'll go. I know
Temporarily
what
banned,
that's like.
Mason.
I guess I'll listen to his show.
Look, if I'm the bad boy of
Am I
YouTube
also
criticism,
banned?
I don't know. Don't you
Yeah.
get separate emails?
I do, yeah, but
Yeah.
still.
Can I come to the next screen?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can be my +1. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye. This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.